fourth grade. This is your Shurley English Chapter 9 Lesson 5 lesson. This is a review lesson because you've already learned all of the skills. We are going to review classifying sentences that have indirect objects, and we are going to review punctuating and correcting sentences that have quotations. All right, let's start with the first sentence. We're going to classify this, so get out a piece of paper and a pencil and write it down. And try to classify it on your own, and then we'll classify it together. Here we go. It says, Mother served us pancakes with blueberry syrup for breakfast. Who served us pancakes with blueberry syrup for breakfast? Mother, subject, noun. What is this saying about mother? What's the action? Served. That's our verb. Mother served what? Pancakes. If we're answering mother served what, we're answering with pancakes, the noun. Does pancakes mean the same as mother? It does not. Pancakes is a direct object. Mother served pancakes to whom? If we're answering to whom, we know we have an indirect object. So us is an indirect object, and we know that's it definitely is because it comes between the verb transitive and the direct object. Let's make this verb a verb transitive since we have a direct object. With is always a preposition. With what? Syrup, object of the preposition. What kind of syrup? Blueberry. If we're answering what kind, we know that it's an adjective. For is always a preposition. For what? Breakfast, object of the preposition. Put parentheses around your prepositional phrases. All right, and this is subject, noun, verb transitive, indirect object, direct object, pattern 3. Period, statement, declarative sentence. Let's divide the complete subject from the complete predicate. You need to find the verb. The verb is served. The complete subject is mother. The rest is the predicate. For our next sentence, you need to write this down and you need to fix all of the errors. It does have quotations in it. All right, I'm going to do it with you. I hope you tried to do it on your own. It says, Dad is taking me to Disney World, Kate exclaimed. Can you come too? Okay, let's start by underlining our explanatory words. Kate exclaimed. Let's put our quotation marks around the first sentence. And we know we have explanatory words that come in between the two sentences that are quotations. So we need to put quotation marks around both sentences. All right, let's capitalize dad because it is the first word of the quotation and dad is being used as a proper noun. Disney World is a proper noun as well. Let's capitalize that. Dad is taking me to Disney World. We need an ending punctuation here, but we know it's not the actual end of the sentence because the end of the sentence comes after Kate exclaimed. But she's exclaiming, so we need to put an exclamation point right there. And then we need to capitalize Kate because Kate is a proper noun. We need to put a period at the end of the sentence because the end of the actual sentence comes after exclaimed. And we need to capitalize can because that's the beginning of the next sentence and it's the beginning of the quote. Can you come too? That's a question. So we need to put a question mark at the end. I'm going to move over these quotation marks just so that it's clear that the quotation marks always come after the punctuation. I'm going to move these over a little bit too. All right, let's see. Do we have everything? Quotation marks. Dad is taking me to Disney World. Capitalize. Exclamation point. Quotation marks. Kate exclaimed. Capitalized Kate. Put in our ending punctuation. Quotation marks, capitalize can, put in our question mark, and we have our quotation marks. All right, we have everything done. You can now complete Chapter 9, Checkup 46. I will go over it throughout the rest of the video, but only watch the rest of the video if you need help. This is Chapter 9, Checkup 46. Only watch this if you need help. You can fast forward to any part that you need help with. Exercise 1, classify each sentence. Number 1, will green apples give you a stomach ache? What will give you a stomach ache? Apples. Subject noun. What is being said about apples? Apples will give. Verb. We have another verb here. It comes at the beginning, will, so it must be a helping verb. Apples will give what? Stomach ache. Verify the noun. Does stomach ache mean the same as apples? No, it's a direct object. Give is a verb transitive. Apples will give stomach ache to whom? Answering to whom, so it's the answer is you. That means it's an indirect object. A is always an article adjective. What kind of apples? Green. Adjective. Subject noun, verb transitive, indirect object, direct object, pattern 3. And we know this, of course, because we have an indirect object in the sentence. There are no prepositional phrases. We have a question mark, question, interrogative sentence, INT. Let's go back to the verb. It is give. Let's divide our complete subject from our complete predicate. Green apples is our complete subject. The rest is predicate, but we do have a verb at the beginning because this is a question, so we need to do our underlining. Green apples is the complete subject. Will is part of the predicate, so double underline that and double underline the rest of the predicate. Number 2, my doctor showed me an x-ray of my broken leg. Who showed me an x-ray of my broken leg? Doctor, subject noun. What is being said about doctor? Doctor showed, verb. Doctor showed what? X-ray. Verify the noun. Does x-ray mean the same as doctor? It does not, but it is a noun in the predicate. That means it's a direct object. Showed is a verb transitive. Doctor showed x-ray to whom? Me. We're answering to whom, so it's an indirect object. An is always an article adjective. Of is always a preposition. Of what? Leg, object of the preposition. What kind of leg? Broken, adjective, because we're answering what kind. It's describing leg. Whose leg? My leg. It's possessive. It's describing, so it's an adjective, and it's a pronoun, so it's a possessive pronoun adjective. Again, my, it's showing ownership, it's describing, and it's a pronoun, so it's a PPA, possessive pronoun adjective. subject noun, verb transitive, indirect object, direct object, pattern 3. Of my broken leg is a prepositional phrase. Period statement, declarative sentence. Let's go back to the verb and divide our sentence. The verb is showed. The complete subject is my doctor. The complete predicate is showed me an x-ray of my broken leg. All right, sentence 3. Grandma cooked Jeffrey and me a hearty breakfast. Who cooked Jeffrey and me a hearty breakfast? Grandmother, subject noun. What is being said about grandmother? Grandmother cooked, verb. Grandmother cooked what? Breakfast. Verify the noun. Breakfast is a noun. It's in the predicate. Does it mean the same as grandmother? It does not. It's a direct object. That means cooked is a verb transitive. Grandmother cooked breakfast for whom? Jeffrey and me. We have compound indirect objects. It's answering for whom, and there's 2 of them, so they're compound indirect objects. What kind of breakfast? Hearty. Hearty's answering what kind? It's an adjective. A is always an article adjective. And is always a conjunction. SN, verb transitive, indirect object, direct object, pattern 3. We have no prepositional phrases. We have period, statement, declarative sentence. Go back to the verb, divide the sentence. Our complete subject is grandmother. The rest is our complete predicate. Skills in editing. Exercise 2. Use the editing guide to help correct each mistake. Underline the explanatory words. Our first sentence says, Fred and I went fishing yesterday, Mr. James said to his friend. Start by underlining your explanatory words. Mr. James said to his friend. Put in your quotation marks. Capitalize the first word of the quotation. It's also a proper noun, Fred. I, always capitalize the word I. Went fishing yesterday. We need to put a comma at the end of our quotation because we have explanatory words that come at the end. We need to capitalize Mr. James because it's a proper noun, and we need to put a period in between Mr. and James. Mr. James said to his friend. We need to put in a period at the end for our ending punctuation. Let's count our mistakes, see if we have everything. We should have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We do. Number 2, Mr. James said to his friend, Fred and I went fishing yesterday. Underline your explanatory words. They come at the beginning this time. Put in your quotation marks. All right, let's go back to the beginning. Mr. James, we need to capitalize and we need to put a period in between Mr. and James. We capitalize Mr. James because it is a proper noun. Said to his friend. We have explanatory words at the beginning. That means we need a comma after the explanatory words before the quote. Fred, we need to capitalize because it's a proper noun and because it starts our quotation. Fred and I, you always capitalize the word I. went fishing yesterday. Let's put a period at the end. All right, and let's see, do we have everything? Let's count our mistakes. We should have 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, we do. Number 3, Fred and I went fishing yesterday. Mr. James said to his friend, I wish you could have gone. All right, we have 2 sentences that are quotations, and we have explanatory words in the middle. Underline your explanatory words. Mr. James said to his friend. Put quotation marks around both sentences. Capitalize Fred. Proper noun and beginning of the quote. Capitalize I. Always capitalize the word I. Put a comma at the end of the first quotation because it's the end of that quotation, but it's not the end of the whole sentence. Mr. James. We capitalize because it's a proper noun. Put a period in between Mr. and James because it's a title. Mr. James said to his friend, put a period at the end of that sentence. Capitalize the first word of the quote. And it's the word I. I wish you could have gone. Put a period at the end of the sentence. All right, let's make sure we have all of our mistakes. 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, we have them all. Number 4, 12 mistakes. Mr. James said to his friend Fred, Fred and I went fishing yesterday. I wish you could have gone. All right, we have explanatory words at the beginning. Mr. James said to his friend. Put in your quotation marks around the quote. Capitalize Mr. James. Put a period in between Mr. James. Mr. James said to his friend, comma, capitalize Fred. Capitalize I. Put a period at the end of the sentence. Capitalize I. Put a period at the end of the sentence. Let's count our mistakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, we have them all. Skills in editing 2. Exercise 3. Use the editing guide to help correct each mistake. Underline the explanatory words. Ernest exclaimed to his friends, Dad is taking me to the state rodeo. Do you want to go with me? Underline your explanatory words. They come at the beginning. I'm gonna do that a little better. All right. Ernest exclaimed to his friends. Okay, put in your quotation marks. Capitalize Ernest, beginning of the sentence, and it's a name. Exclaimed to his friends. We have explanatory words at the beginning, so we need a comma after them. Capitalize Dad. Dad is taking me to the state rodeo. We need an exclamation point right here. Dad is taking me to the state rodeo. Do you want to go with me? Do we need to capitalize? It's the first word of the next sentence. Do you want to go with me? We need a question mark at the end because it's a question. All right, let's see if we have everything. 9 mistakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, number 2, Dad is taking me to the state rodeo. Ernest exclaimed to his friends, do you want to go with me? We have explanatory words in the middle. Put quotation marks around both of the sentences, since we have explanatory words in the middle. Capitalize Dad. Dad is taking me to the state rodeo. We need our ending punctuation. It is an exclamation point because it says Ernest exclaimed. Capitalize the E in Ernest. Put a period at the end of the sentence. Capitalize do. It's the beginning of the next sentence and it's the first word of the quote. If you want to go with me, put in a question mark because it's a question. All right, let's count our mistakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have them all. Last one, number 3. Dad is taking me to the state rodeo. Do you want to go with me? Ernest exclaimed to his friends. Explanatory words come at the end. Underline them. Put in your quotation marks. Capitalize Dad. Put an exclamation point at the end of the first sentence. Capitalize the first word of the next sentence. Put a question mark at the end of the next sentence because it's a question. Capitalize Ernest. Put a period at the end of the sentence. All right, let's count our mistakes. We should have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have them all.